No experience, no coding ability, no marketing background, no inventory management, and after a ton of research, I decided on Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. You've probably already heard of it. In fact, a lot of your favorite brands still use Shopify, including Gymshark, one of the biggest sports apparel brands on the planet. Shopify is the only tool you need to start, run, and grow your online business without the struggle. What I loved about Shopify was that as we added in new lines and different verticals, it grew with the business. It required zero experience. Every single time there was a problem, I was able to sort it myself. That's how simple it is. And there is a $1 per month trial period that you can sign up for right now with the link in the description or by going to shopify.com/modernwisdom, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/modernwisdom to take your business to the next level today. Heroes and villains always have the same backstory, pain. The difference is what they choose to do about it. Villain says, the world hurt me, I'll hurt it back. The hero says, the world hurt me, I'm not going to let it hurt anybody else. Heroes use pain, villains are used by it.
It's hard for us to imagine.
And full kudos here. This is a permutation of what Donald Miller said, who's a great writer, and he has a number of books. And he talked about the first element. The second element of that quote is the part that I added to it, about heroes using pain and villains being used by it. And so one of the things for people who are not where they want to be is that they have pain, like oodles of pain. And I remember when I was starting out, I was looking for passion. I was looking for purpose. I was like, I just want to find something that I'm motivated by. But it's the cat and the cheese. It's like we're looking for cheese, but we have all these cat behind us, and all we have to do is look and remember that they're behind us and chasing us. And so if you have the cat and you're staying in your current situation, you're being used by the cat. Right? You're being used by the business owner who, it doesn't treat you well and is, and you're in this job that you don't really want to be in, right? Or you're being used by the situation or the context of the relationship that you're in with the girl that you're like not that into, right? Versus saying like, this is terrible. And because of this terribleness, I now have something that I can run away from. and then like, rather than not looking at the knife or trying to take painkillers to not feel the pain, it's like completely sobering up, taking the knife and twisting it in your own heart and being like, I'm going to fucking do something about this. And I think that that's what the heroes, like if we're heroes in our own story, it's not avoiding pain. It's choosing from the very beginning, the alchemy, which is like, you have these terrible situations. It's like, and you have the opportunity to turn them into magic and skip or shortcut all the growth you're going to have in a really short period of time simply by twisting the knife and being like, I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah, I think because people presume in the beginning that passion and purpose and meaning and joy and fulfillment are the things that get people going. But as I've said, of all of the high performers that I've spoken to, the vast majority of them are driven by insufficiency and resentment and terrible parents or terrible upbringings or a chip on their shoulder about bullies in school. Pick your poison. They have decided to use that to create the activation energy, right? You can lower your action threshold and increase how many points you have to prove. It's like, oh, I want to live a better life. Yeah, that sounds good. It's like, I want to prove the bullies that said I was a worthless piece of shit in school wrong. It's like, that's some fucking potent fuel. I do believe that scaled over a long enough time, it's toxic. And I don't think that it's necessarily...
How long?
Well, that's the question. Like a lifetime, yeah. Right? Like, but it'll fuel you for a decade pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think that I look at me. I look at, I was bullied pretty badly in school and was an only child and had expectations from parents.
Sure.
And I combined all of those things together. And I did have a chip on my shoulder, and I did want to prove to the world that I was worthwhile. And I did want people to realize that they had doubted the wrong person. Fuck yeah. Yeah, damn right I do.
I think being really specific about your pain is helpful. So like, even being specific about the cheese, really specificity in general is helpful, but like even more so, like what is twisting the knife? Like how do you operationalize twisting the knife, right? Instead of being like, I hate my life, right? It's, I hate the way Andrew makes me feel, when he says that I'm a piece of shit and I'm not going to amount to anything, comma, because he's right. Like, why does it hurt me? Like if someone says, Alex, you're a piece of shit, you're not going to amount to anything.
If someone accuses you of being poor or fat.
Right. I'd be like, I have evidence to the contrary. So this will probably not bother me. But the things that bother us are the ones that have an element of truth, or sometimes not an element, are comprised almost entirely of truth, and we just don't want to look at it. And so I think it's the twisting the knife is looking in the mirror and saying, what if they're right?
Success is the only revenge. As you expand, they shrink into irrelevance. As you get louder, no one can hear them. You don't beat them, you cast a shadow so big, no one can see them to begin with. When people copy, they copy the wrong stuff because they don't know why it worked to begin with. And when it breaks, they don't know how to fix it because they didn't build it. So don't sweat it. Copycats will always be behind.
Good shit.
But success is the only revenge.
Yeah.
It is such a lovely, there's that,
Want me to tell you the story behind it?
damn right.
Yeah. So I was 15 years old. So this was really early in my life.
Still jacked.
Still jacked. Always jacked. Perma-jacked. And this is gonna sound so lame. So I had this teacher. So I'm a freshman in high school, and I might have been 14, whatever the age is. And I'm walking through the hallway, and this teacher is like an admin of some kind, walks out of his office, and he's like, son. And I was like, I'm like, either in trouble. What am I going to do? And he's like, you work out? And I was like, no. He's like, why not? I was like, I don't know how. He's like, I'll show you. He's like, you got the genes. And so that teacher, Mr. Givens, ended up working out with me every day in high school and showed me how to work out. And he probably saw on some level that I was some angsty teenager that felt angry about whatever. And I, during our workout sessions, would be like, this guy said this to me, like, or like this, whatever. And I was like, man, I'm going to come back at our 10-year reunion. And I was like, I'm going to show him. I was like, he's going to be working for me, like, blah, 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 right? And he's like, no, he's not. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, let me just have my moment. Right? He's like, no, he's not. He's like, and you're not going to do that. Not if I have anything to say about it when you come back for the 10-year reunion. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, because if you come back at a 10-year reunion and say, hey, John, like everything I have, look at me now. He's like, the guy's going to laugh and be like, you did all of this to try and prove me wrong? Man, I feel sorry for you. And when he said that, when he actually played out what my like revenge fantasy was in real life, I realized it looked stupid.
Petty.
Yeah. I looked like the beta in the fucking situation, right?
Yeah.
And so he was like, the only thing that you can do is win so big that all of them constantly compare themselves to you. And then you'll forget they exist. And that's when he said, success is the only revenge. He's like, it's not the best revenge. He's like, it's the only one. There's no other revenge. Because everything else is petty. Everything else does show that you were thinking about these people all day long, which means they win by default. He's like, all you can do is think about your goal and winning. He's like, and when you win, that's when you become so big that they shrink into irrelevance. You cast a shadow that no one even can see them behind you.
I run a podcast solo. No producer, no editor, no tech skills, just Riverside. I get high quality podcast recordings right from my room.
And I'm not even using expensive equipment.
Watch this. Riverside turns my recording into social clips automatically. It even creates thumbnails and writes the description, so I can post it fast without getting overwhelmed. If you want to start a podcast, this is the only tool you need. Try it for free today.
This is the nuance, I think, on the previous point when we were talking about the toxicity of that fuel long term.
Yeah, you can see me light up.
Yeah. Well, I think that when you think about the activation energy of using the things that you don't like, you have to be careful that you're using them and that they're not using you still. And a lot of the time, I get this, and in my more juvenile moments, I see myself do this, where I'll know that there's a game that somebody else that I don't like cares about.
Yeah.
And I'll imagine myself playing that game to beat them so that I can stick it to them.
Right.
purely for the reason of sticking it to them.
Right.
Let's say that there's someone that really cares about being in shape, and I'm not in as good shape as I have been in the past. And I know that with muscle memory, if you give me 18 months and a good amount of testosterone, like the thing that they care about,
Right.
I would be able to make them feel really bad about.
Right.
Okay, so I would hijack my own direction
Yeah.
purely to try and prove somebody else wrong in a desperate and somehow believe that that's me taking control of my life. Are you kidding me? I'm allowing them to ventriloquize me
Yeah.
through pain that they didn't even mean to give me.
Yeah. The woman in the black dress.
The black pill equivalent.
Right. No, like now it's like not even a distraction from your main goal. It's like, I'm going to make a new goal just to wrong this person, and then somehow make up the story that I'm in control of my life when I'm really just acting in complete reaction to this person. And so in so doing, in beating them at their own game, they've already won by default.
Yep. Because they got me to change the game I was playing.
Right.
Forget about who won. It's like, dude, you were over there and now you're over here. I see this with a lot of people. I think that it contributes to a lot more of why and how people adopt societal norms, that the resentment that they have, it's not just other people want this thing, therefore I mimetically want to do this thing too. It's, I know that other people will respect me and that my resentment will feel justified and manifest if I win at it. And that's really compelling. That's like a motivational spit roasting coming in from both ends. And it's really, really powerful, and you need to be careful.
I mean, I think, one of the really early blessings, and I'll be honest, like this is where I think I was fortunate, right? Like I realized when I was about 28, right? That I had been trying really hard to beat. I mean, you'll notice a common theme with a lot of my stories, but I have one central person that I was trying to prove for a very long time, which was my father. And we're on good terms, by the way, because I always get that question. But this was after I left, and he disapproved of my whole thing. And for 5 years, we didn't talk very much. And so he calls me up he says, "Hey, you're going to want to sit down for this." And I'm like, "Okay, what? Are you pregnant?" And so he says, "I'm sorry." And I was like, "For what?" And he was like, "For everything." Right now, mind you, like this is a Middle Eastern father born in Iran to a Middle Eastern father there who was even more legit. Like where my father was born, women weren't allowed to drive cars. Cars came with drivers with them when you bought them. The driver